share something. Chciałabym coś udostępnić Państwu. I've got a presentation which is kind of long, but I hope to go like through this. You know, most of this stuff is already there on our websites basically. Czyli większość z tych informacji jest na naszej stronie. Mam nadzieję, że większość spotkania poświęcimy jednak na te pytania Państwa. Ja też poprosiłam osoby, które wyjeżdżały już na Erasmusa, żeby dołączyły do nas później, jeśli będą mogły, żeby po prostu też odpowiedzieć może na jakieś dodatkowe pytania. Okay, so we will start this meeting with me just basically talking about the Erasmus Plus opportunities for you students of Warsaw School of Computer Science. If at any point you have a question, please just wait till the end. It will be, I think, the fastest and best because maybe your answer is another slide, you know. So just wait till the end. If you can't wait or you think you will forget, just write it in the chat and then we will come back to this, okay? Czyli gdyby się pojawiło jakieś pytanie, no to niech Państwo zapamiętają je na koniec albo niech napiszą sobie na czacie, żeby nie zapomnieć i będziemy potem już wszystko sobie wyjaśniać. Okay, I hope you can hear me all right and everything is okay and we can start. Yes?
Yes, everything's good.
Everything's good. Okay. Okay, so maybe it's going to be easiest for me to speak English all the time. But if somebody needs any translation to Polish, let me know. Just stop me then and let me know. Okay, let's have a deal like this. Okay, so let's go. So basically what you should know is any kind of student, so the daily students and the weekend students and the bachelor students and master students, everybody can apply for Erasmus Plus funding for 3 different things. So you can either apply for doing your semester abroad, so instead of coming in here and having your classes, doing it somewhere else in a different university. Another thing is doing your internship abroad. So we know that internships are part of most of the programs that students are having in our school. So it's like part of your program. You should be doing this. If you don't have a job, maybe that's an interesting option. And another thing is a short studying mobility. So something like maybe a summer school, a winter school, or something called a blended intensive program, which I will also let you know about in a second. So when it comes to the short studying mobility, which is usually 1 week or 2 weeks, there needs to be some virtual component, which we already know so well because you're having classes in this university. So it's not a big deal for us, but it needs to be there to be considered like eligible for the Erasmus Plus grant. And also like a semester abroad and internship abroad could be, so those long-term mobilities can also be in a blended form if there is such an opportunity. So that's not a problem. And the amount of this virtual component is never nowhere and never defined. So it doesn't say how long, how much. Usually the people organizing something or during discussing an agreement, because in terms of all of these things, we need to have an agreement between 3 parties, you, the student, us, the university sending, and some institution receiving. So usually the agreement would specify how big and how much that is. I think that was too much information for one slide. Let me move on. Okay. So we will go through all of these things one by one. Later on, I'm going to talk about the funding, like how much money are we talking about. I will tell you about where to look for those opportunities, and then we will move on to the questions, and maybe you'll have some questions to people who did their mobilities already. Okay, so when it comes to studying somewhere else, what does it mean somewhere else? We are not actually, you think about the European Union, we've got the funding from the European Union, but we are not restricted only to European Union. It could be like international place somewhere else, not in Europe, but there is this prerequisite that this place you're going to needs to be our partner university, which means we need to have a special agreement signed before you can go. So at this point, we have a few, not too many. I will show you where, but if you are interested in going someplace else, there always could be a discussion between me and some other people in here and, representatives of this other university if they were interested in having exchanges with us. So the first thing you do when you want to study abroad from the Erasmus Plus grant, with the Erasmus Plus grant, is you choose this partner university, you make sure you want to go there, you check these, the study program and the courses and everything. You decide what you would like to do, because you don't need to do everything. You don't need to do the whole semester. It all is later on discussed when we are doing this agreement, individual one. Then you apply, meaning you let me know, because I'm this coordinator for this program here, that you are interested. And then I just ask those people, and this whole discussion starts. So it usually takes some time. That's why we need to apply before the deadline, because usually universities have the deadline for receiving nominations. And the nomination is what happens when you have gone through this internal application process in our university and you are good to go, and we send you, right? So then you're nominated, we send the nomination, they accept it, we sign the agreement. So how many courses you're doing, and what's the time frame for this, when you should finish and get back. So after signing the agreement digitally with like those three parties, you get your money and then you go and study. So when it comes to the money, we just give you a grant, and you don't have to keep any kind of invoices, any kind of documentation when it comes to what you do with that money, because it's just some kind of, like, let's call it subsidy, to make it easier for you just to study abroad. So once you received your money, we're not going to ask you what you did with this, but you need to complete the semester, because if you're not there, if you haven't arrived, or if you haven't completed, then we can start like asking, okay, but what happened? And then the whole procedure with this, reversing the whole process begins. So this is the studying. So when it comes to the studying, first off, you need the partner university. Okay, we need to apply before the deadline at the partner university. Usually they publish it on their website. Sometimes they don't. And then you just go to me and I ask them, basically. Usually it's like, depending on the semester, usually like a couple months before it starts, or even like several, so that they have time to process all the applications. So as I said, anybody can apply, bachelor, master students, full-time or part-time, doesn't matter. So how long you can apply for, I'm calling it semester, but it could be longer. It could be 2 semesters, okay? Because each student has their like mobility capital per like the whole period of their studies, whether it's a bachelor's or master's, and it is 12 months, right? So you cannot have more of your mobilities altogether. So it's your decision. Usually universities accept people for 1 semester, but theoretically, it's possible. It could be less. It could be like the minimum of 2, maybe, depending on some program somewhere which is short. I don't know. And as I said, 2 deadlines for applying, but from our side, just to make sure that we make it before all the deadlines there, I think it's best to apply for your winter semester abroad till the 30th of June in here, and for the spring semester till the 30th of September the previous year. Okay, I will just want to tell you that this is being recorded, but I will also upload this presentation somewhere and let you know about this, probably on this Teams feed from Erasmus, because it has some clickable links. So maybe you might want to see that. These are our partner universities. All of them are clickable links. I won't be sharing them with you right now. So not too many, as you can see, but this is what I was able to do in 1 year. It's not that easy to set up a partnership because it's bilateral, meaning we have to also accept people from these universities, and it's all about capacity and everything. So this is what we have. This is what we have as for now. Of course, we're open to more. And as I said, we can have this discussion if you are interested in something, someplace else. So for studying, you need the partner university. Yes, and what's important is when you go and study abroad, you're doing this semester at the partner university, your grades are registered. They are actually like digitally uploaded as a transcript of records after you come back. And we are incorporating them into your study program. So you're not following those courses at home, but you're doing them there, and they are registered in your diploma supplement when you finish, when you graduate, and you're doing this instead of a semester here, which means when you get back, you don't need to worry that you don't have all those subjects, ticked off, right? So that's instead, it's a replacement. Actually, the same goes, a similar story with a short mobility for studying. Short mobility, so from 5 to 30 days, no more than a month. Usually it must have this virtual component, as I told you. Usually it's 5 days or it's 2 weeks, and that's it. And again, to get your grant from our institution, you need to go to our partner university. So it cannot be something else. Why not? Because we need to sign this agreement digitally, and we can only do this with our partner university. That's the reason. So again, if you find somebody someplace else, which is not our partner, but you would like to go, let me know. I will try to reach out to them, and we'll try to make it work. So in this case, you're not checking like the deadlines for applying for the study period, like whole semester. You're just looking for a short program, which could be like winter school, summer school, or some like workshops, some kind of other things. The same process happens later on, so no difference here. Of course, the grant would be lower because it depends on the number of days that you're away. And what else you need to know? Okay, so I told you about like what different kind of things that could be, because it's not really defined what this short mobility for studying is. There is this special thing which is called blended intensive program, which is something that universities do. They offer, for example, 2 weeks or 1 week of an actual course, and then you receive your credit points, ECTS credit points. For this, it's like one subject, as if. And again, anybody can apply. You've got, I told you about how long this is. And yes, and this is again internal procedure that it's best to apply at least 1 month before this thing, because we need to go through the process at home. I need to find the committee, this commission, let's say, who's going to vote on the students and select the ones who will receive their grant. And again, I told you, so we need to be partners with the place you're going to. So these are our partners, but if you find something else through, I don't know, somewhere, I will show you where you can look, but also like it's in conversations with your, teachers, professors, lecturers here. This is how we set up 2 partnerships. So this is how we set up a partnership with a Romanian institution and with one institution in Portugal. Yes, that's what I said already. Okay, sometimes those summer schools or winter schools could have a fee. Sometimes they say, okay, if you're our partner, you don't have a fee. But sometimes they just give some discount. So this needs to be double checked, because there are no rules on those short programs, right? So then universities can do what they want with this. So it's always a good idea to double check and see if we don't have to pay some registration fee, some extra fee for something. Okay, here's the actual link. So maybe I can open this link and maybe put this in a chat for you to see. So where to look for those summer schools, winter schools, and stuff like that. For example, here, okay, there's this website. It's called Summer Schools. Sorry, wow. Okay, but it's not necessarily happening during the summertime. So another thing to double check. And these usually say that there's some fee, but when you read like deeper into the description and you go to the website of the university, sometimes it just says, if you're our partner, you don't pay, right? And as I said, sometimes it's just a matter of like checking the websites of our partners, seeing if they are maybe doing some blended intensive program or something like this, and just checking your options. Okay, the difference between those studying mobilities and internship is we don't need any agreements with anybody. So you can apply to any company in the world that you want. So you're not limited by anything, and you're not limited by like the location of this place. but what you need to do is to find this internship in the first place. So you need to go through some process, probably of application. You need to upload your CV or get in contact with somebody. Another thing you could do, and there are options to do this, some people are interested and some people are not, is to do their internship at a university, but not studying, not taking any course, but for example, I don't know, working as some technician in the IT department, and we had applications like this. So then you can come to me, I can ask if it's possible. I've been talking to some universities and I know it is. So these options are also there. But apart from the universities, our partners, or any other universities, it could be any company, corporation, institution, it could be any place really. And then you do the same thing. So you apply at home, and you get the nomination. We sign the agreement, but not necessarily digitally. We just sign it. There's a special form, but and then you get your grant and you go and you work. But of course, like I'm making it so simple. Remember that any kind of thing that you get the grant for, you need to keep these documents, those signatures, because that's the proof that you actually, completed the internship, completed the study program and stuff like that. So as I said, no need for any partnerships here. You can do it anywhere you want, from 2 days to 12 months, And there is this blended mobility option. Everything here is negotiable with the institution that will be receiving you. And I also set up some deadlines for internal, processing of those applications to make it easier. So they are a bit different. You have more time. So when you want to go in the winter, the deadline is June. When you want to go in the spring semester, which we can extend to the summertime, the deadline is February. Okay, where to look for your internships is similarly as if you were looking for a job. So any kind of big company or small, looking for just, these are links. So when I put this out there, you can click it. So as I said, we can do this at a university. So our partners, there is this website, which is called Erasmus Intern, and some companies upload their, some internship opportunities in some countries. So this is some place to check. I have an actual spreadsheet with when I was doing my research last summer. So I don't know if they are still available, but there were some institutions which were welcoming interns. Apart from regular job seeking process. I recommend checking LinkedIn, going to some groups on LinkedIn, setting up a profile if you don't have any yet. What's the name? Subscribing to some newsletters, like I do. This is a foundation. It's called Women for Cyber, but I guess guys can apply as well. And there are traineeships and jobs. So again, wherever you find it, I can be of help if you need me. And also, I think our university internship officer, Ms. Ania Wojciechowska. So I hope that she could also be of help in this case. Okay, when it comes to the grants, so when it comes to the money, this is predefined, preset, let's say. So as an institution, we apply for funding, we get a grant, we sign an agreement, and we get some amount of money, which we applied for specific groups of people to go, And then this national agency, which is distributing those funds, they set those kind of circa numbers, because they don't really know where you would be going, because it depends on the destination. So the further you go, actually no, because that's not about okay, so it's not about travel, it's not about distance, it's about those groups of countries which have been put into those groups depending on the level of, I don't know what actually, how much money people make and stuff like this, depending on the European Union, some standards.
Cost of living.
Yeah, once again, Pavel?
Cost of living.
Probably cost of living. So there are those 3 groups of countries within the European Union, and then all our countries in one, just another amount for those. Okay, and then we've got the destination country, which this is based on. And then it depends whether you're going like for months or you're going for days, because again, then the amount of money differs. And what is interesting, and I don't know why, but the grant for internship is higher than the grant for studying. I don't know why. Let's take a look at those numbers. I'm sorry, it's in Polish. I couldn't find it in English. I think it doesn't exist in English because it's set by our national agency. So these are, as I said, these are approximate numbers because they give us some money, because they are guessing. They don't know where you're going to be going. So then there's this system that actually calculates the exact amount of money, depending on the country, depending on how many days. So as you can see, we've got two groups. These are for 2023, for 2022, it was the same. For 2024, it's a bit different, but we don't have the money from the 2024 application process because it's in the process. I'm just applying for it. So we're working on the grants, from previous years. So these are the numbers for per month. Okay, when you're going to study, you're going to get approximately this much for going to these countries. So people who don't speak English, let me know afterwards and I will tell you which countries, okay, and what's the exact number. So but you can guess, like the first two groups, like the biggest, the highest, as Pavel said, cost of living, and the third group, which includes us for our countries, is here. And going for an internship, the monthly amount is higher, so you get plus 150 euro. And another thing is, if you're a participant with fewer opportunities, for example, a person with disability or a person who, and this is a weird kind of interpretation, but according to our national agency in Poland, the people with like this inclusion kind of grant is only applies for students who get this kind of social fund, like this extra for people from poorer backgrounds or something like this. So people with disabilities are people from poorer backgrounds, but only those who get like the grant from their university, anyway, they can apply for it and get an extra 250 euro per month for their mobility. And here it's like regardless of whether it's for studying or for internships. Okay, short-term mobility, so you get your money per day. And then I think, I don't remember, I think it doesn't matter here, that the country does not matter, you get the same amount. So it's up to 14 days and then after 56. And if you're a person with fewer opportunities, you get this much. And this is a plus, this is this much. Okay, and if you're going outside of Europe, then you get this much. So, and then again, it doesn't matter if it's a studying period or an internship, it's per month. And a person with fewer opportunities gets 250 plus more. There's a little problem with international mobility because there's something like the ODA list, which means these are countries which have been classified as like very low income countries or least developed countries, like some problematic kind of countries. And the problem with this is that we cannot give EU funding for students of bachelor and master's levels to go to these countries. There's this whole website, you can Google it, and there's a list. Oh, I have put just the list, but there's this website, and you've got the long list of lots of different countries, for example, Peru, which could be a bit weird, but it exists. So these countries are off limits for the Erasmus mobility. Okay, when it comes to the application process, what do you need? You need to be signed and registered as a student. You need to be an active student, so you cannot be on any kind of leave. And you need to have a completed closed semester, which means you cannot have any, unfinished business, let's say, right? So for example, you haven't passed something. And if you're a student at your final year, you need to make sure that your mobility does not coincide with your planned like date of completing your studies. So these are like the official things. And then of course, people with fewer opportunities get more, they get special support, let's say. So for example, if we have a person with fewer opportunities, they will be probably selected, if other people are not. And yeah, what do you need to submit when it comes to application internally is a completed application form. This is what it looks like, and I'm planning to changing this to a digital form, but so far it's just a document that you need to complete with your personal information. So basically it's personal information and like the place where you're going, how long, and have you ever participated before, and stuff like this. Another thing is your transcript of record. So you need to be a person who has a completed semester, which means you cannot go on Erasmus if you're on your first semester as a student. At least it needs to be your second, because only then do we have the transcript of your record, so like a list of your grades. You also submit your CV, your cover letter in English, and you need to know English. So either you have a certificate or you finished, like you completed a semester of English at our institution and you received a positive grade. That's the application form, which you can access. I will show you where in a second. So then what happens? So then the deadline is over and I'm organizing a meeting of 4 people. So who is in this committee, the commission? It's me. So because I'm the institutional Erasmus coordinator, the career internship officer, which is Ms. Anna Wojciechowska, some lecturer, some teacher, professor from our school who is available at a time, and a member of the student council, czyli członek samorządu. So those 4 people take a look at all the applications. Usually I send them beforehand, and later we meet and we make our decision. So far we haven't had many applications, so everybody who submitted their application, they received a positive answer and they have been granted the fund if they met all the criteria, because if you don't, then you can't, basically. Then when we have, when the meeting is over, we've got the minutes from the meeting and the report, and it's published on the website. You can see it should be there. We had 2 so far, and I'm also informing people who applied by email. And there is an appeal procedure. So if you think it's unfair or something, you can appeal, and we can take a look back at your application if your argumentation is valid. So where to look for those forms, and all this information which I just told you is there, So if you're an English-speaking student, you should go to the English version of our website, and then here in the section Erasmus Plus outgoing students, you've got this document sitting there. For Polish-speaking students, Erasmus Plus, and then you click one of these buttons for students, and again you've got these things. So you've got the qualification rules, like selection rules, but also you've got the forms like this one. Okay, so we've had some experiences with Erasmus Plus so far. I don't know if any student who has been or came back from Erasmus has joined us today. If you have, let us know, because I can't see anything. I will just take a look quickly. No, I don't see everybody, so. Okay, so if anybody is here, just let me know, and maybe some people would have some questions to you. And also, if you have your questions to the people who have came back from Erasmus or are on the Erasmus mobility, because we've got 2 students in France doing their semester right now, and we had a few students, 3 students going to a blended intensive program in Romania. We also, our staff visited some partner universities, and we had some students coming to us. Right now we have 6 students from France. We used to have 3 students doing their internship during the summertime. So if you want to contact anybody, I forgot about 1 student from Lithuania who also was doing a semester in Poland. So if you have any questions to these people, you can write them in here, and I will copy them to the Erasmus feed in the Student Council Samorząd's team, and I will ask them to just respond later on. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry, that was a lot to process. So now I would like to hear your questions. if you have any.
The intensive program is like, is it really intensive, right? Is it like 8 hours of school a day for 5 days, right?
You're talking about the blended intensive, yeah, the short period for studying. It depends on the program. So there's no like one defined way of doing this. That's why I said it could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks. It's called intensive, I think, because you get credits for it. You get your ECTS points. Usually it's at least 3. So it depends on the people organizing it, how they do it, but and how much of this virtual component, how much workload they put there. We need to ask, because we've got 3 people who have completed one program like this about their artificial intelligence, and so we can ask them about this. So you can, if you have specific questions about that, like about the workload or something, write it down, Pavel, in the chat, and I will just transfer the question to them, okay, for later.
Just one more question. When I go looking for the programs, is it like very clear? They put it in the description that this is the intensive version and not the normal mobility. Do I have to put it somewhere there, or is it?
You're talking about this difference between blended intensive and is it just a regular short mobility, yeah?
No, when I go look, I want to look for the intensive program to get the points, right? How do I look only for the intensive programs?
There's no way just to look for the blended intensive program. So either you can just Google beep, like this, a blended intensive program and some institution. I think it's just checking, because there's no one place to look for it, just as I said. So the first place to go and see would be checking these institutions. Are they organizing something? I can like also, and I was planning to do this, but I've got a lot going on, so I was planning to ask them if they are doing something. I know that the Vilnius Business College is planning on doing something, but I have no details. As for now, I have no idea what they're working on. So we need to just ask, I think. Ask around. We start with the partner universities, or you just go here, to this place. And then you browse and you check what's interesting. The off-putting element of this is the money. But then when you read more, sometimes they say that our partners don't have to pay. But then, when you're not a partner, how you become one, if you're just so that's what I'm saying. So of course I will be trying to set up a new partnership if you needed this, but some of them are not that expensive, because for example this one is not that much, or this one. So it's just a matter of checking, I guess. And the blended intensive programs at our partners, which are, oh sorry, I can't get back now. Probably like, the people who went to Romanian American University, they didn't pay anything for the program. It was for free. But this is tricky. So we need to, those programs we need to double check all the time. Okay, any other questions? Do you have any more questions, people?
Yes, I have one question.
Okay, go on.
What are the other requirements to be selected from all these people who wants to go for Erasmus abroad of this who you talked about? Like you need all the stuff in English, and but when you meet with the other people to choose, you're looking for good, I don't know, good grades or something like that.
So as I said, Gabriela, as for now, we didn't have this problem because we didn't have a lot of applications. But I think, what we would be looking for in the first, what we would be, first off, a person who hasn't done any. Okay, so the people who have, less chance of going. If there are a lot of applications, because if there are no applications, then why not? So first off, do you have any experience with Erasmus? Of course, we will be then, if we have a lot of applications, we would be looking at the transcript of records. So the better students would have a bigger chance, and we need to consider people with fewer opportunities if there would be any, so I think that's it. If that's not going to be enough, probably English, I think, because what else? Or maybe also just judging by the cover letter and CV, just these are the things we get. So these are the things we can judge and select by.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I have just one question.
Okay.
Because I can work remotely, but my question is like, how many hours will I need to have for learning, and like, will I have hours to work there?
Mm-hmm. So again, it's a question to people who are there. I think it really depends on the place where you go to and the program which you go to and how many courses you will be doing, because you don't need to do a lot. Sometimes there are big differences in the credit points. So for example, what we usually want to achieve is to, because when you're leaving, one semester is 30 credit points. So what we really would love to have is 30 credit points at the receiving institution. So then, but sometimes, it's impossible. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes there's no such a way because the courses differ so much. So it's a long, long process of talking to our prorector who makes those decisions about the program. And also, I think when I talked, because Tsarina and Piotr are not here, I think Piotr said that he's going to join us. So Piotr, are you with us maybe?
I am here.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
I am with
Piotr,
you.
like, why don't you jump in and tell them what a semester, for example, in ESAP looks like when it comes to
Okay,
workload, if there's time for work?
Sure. So about ESAP, the workload isn't that intense since especially at ESAP, there is a program called Active ESAP where you go to work for the company for like funds for your education at school. And here in our learning agreements, we didn't have that put in. So basically, sometimes more frequently than it happens that we do not have any work to do. Of course, learning things that you attend to for the courses. But other than that, you have like several weeks even that are free for your activities. So at ESAP, at least, there is a lot of free time you can spend, for example, on working remotely for your company.
So, for example, from a perspective of a person who came to us from Lithuania, Vilnius Business College, it was Yuri. I think Yuri is not with us today. I think he had more work. I mean, maybe not work, but he had more classes here than he would be having in his home university. And for example, people who came to us from ESAP, I forgot it's Z, Piotr, thank you. So the students who came to us for their semester, their spring semester right now. So, they had for example, so they had like 30 credits at home, to receive, but they were able to just select 20 in Poland, and that was agreed on, and they said, okay. So it also depends on talking to our prorector, I think, and this is this whole negotiation and talk between, because we need to look at the study programs, we need to see what's in those courses, and this is how she and we make the decision. So I think the answer is it depends on the place. If you're interested in any of these places after doing this first off research, like checking what they do or what the courses they have. By courses, I don't just mean programs like bachelor in something or specialization like this, but just looking into those courses, like what's that about? And then just thinking, okay, I would like to do this, because later on we talk and it seems okay, but we are not doing this semester, or maybe something else, maybe we're changing this to something else, so a lot of things can happen. That's why it takes quite a long time to set up a study mobility for a whole semester. And Piotr can, I think, confirm this. But successfully we have done this, I hope, when you're home, so you'll have all those credits. So I think, to answer your question, I think is just we need to ask and see, and ask them specifically about like the how many hours and stuff like this, so it's not a clear answer at this point.
Okay, thank you very much.
So okay, anybody else, any more questions?
Yes.
Yeah, go.
So much for the good presentation. Actually, you have shared a link, computer science summer courses. Actually, for the internship and for the other, is there any kind of other links, or we have to look into this only?
Are you talking about the link for the short mobility?
Yeah, short mobility, and of course for the
internship,
internships
yes?
as well.
Yeah. Okay, so there are two
Yes.
different answers because they are two different things. Remember, when you're going to study, even if it's a short mobility, we need to have a partnership with this institution. So you could look elsewhere. This place is not a limit, and our partners are not a limit to you. But once you find them, we need to start talking to them and asking if they will be willing to setting up this partnership, because we need to go through this process of this digital agreement signing, okay? And we can only do this with a partner. So for studying, even if it's a short mobility, you need a partner. So, you know, you can find whoever you want, but still they need to agree, you know. But for the internship, there's no limit. There's no limit basically. So you can find any institution anywhere that will accept you, and they are willing to accept you, and based on that information that they are willing to accept you, we can, consider your application. I forgot one more thing, because when it comes to internships, remember that if internship period is included in your study program, I know that after the changes to this practical kind of how to say this, I don't know, like mode, I don't know, of studying. So you've got, as students, you've got more hours to complete. So think about this as well. I think a safe thing to do would be looking for an internship in, like, accompanied, or in so that the internship officer in here knows about this, and she will accept it and include this into your study program later on. Because why lose this opportunity if you can have this, and you can have the internship in the study program also, like, checked.
Okay, good. Just a short addition in, if we get
I'm
internship in any company.
Mhm.
For example, if we get internship in any company, then
Yes.
also for the School of Computer Science will be providing us the stipend or something.
I'm sorry, you're a little bit cutting, so I'm having trouble. But are you asking for what happens next after this company gives you this kind, accepts you, right? So what's the procedure? Yeah.
Yes, like I want to ask, like, if any company, for example, not the institute, but the company, we get hired in any company for the internship for the summer. So then do we have, we will get the grant for that?
Yes. So but it has to be, because then we, as the university, we need to sign an agreement for the internship with them. So I don't know if you find a job, I don't know if the company is going to sign the internship agreement with you, because to get your grant, you need a document signed by us, the university, this company, this organization, and yourself. Okay? So I'm not sure if a job would do, but an internship will, and it could be any kind of company that accepts you. I think another thing to remember about a student who are doing their, like, English speaking, like, studying in English in Poland, because sometimes you come from countries outside European Union and you need your visa. So an important thing to remember and to consider when applying is, okay, I'm applying to a company outside Poland, because this is what Erasmus is all about. It needs to be outside Poland, okay? So I apply, I don't know, to Romania, to France, to Czech Republic. I need to make sure that I will have a visa for the whole period of me staying there and doing this internship, okay? So that's another thing to consider.
Okay, like for example, now we have the visa for the for the internship here in the Poland. But if we choose any other country, like we told, Italy, Romania, or any other country, so then they will not accept, right?
I think there is a limit. If you have a
Yes.
visa to some European country, you have a limit, I think, of 90 days, okay, to travel to a different European country without any need to do anything and to register or do anything, apply for any extra visa or something, right? So if you're within the scope of 90 days, you're good. You know, you can go, right? If it's European Union. But if it's more than this, or if it's outside European Union and you're don't have a citizenship or something, you need a visa. But the same goes for Polish people. Like if it's, I don't know, USA, you need a visa anyway, or I think, or no, I don't know if Biden or Trump did something about this, but you know, just an example. But any kind of like Cuba or something. No, Cuba is on the ODA list. Okay, so some country, you know, outside of EU that you need a visa for. So you would have to also think about that. You need the visa to do your internship in a country which requires a visa.
Sorry. Okay. Yes, I understand. I'm sorry. Just a short addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, the France or Norway, the country where we don't need visa as a European Union. I have the visa for Poland, so I can travel to France or Italy or those countries. So for if the internship is 3 months only, like 90 days, then is it good to go? Like we can
You're
work
good to
there
go.
for 90 days?
Yes, you can. You can. Because
And
you're
I
a
can do the
student.
internship also.
Yes, because you're a student, you're doing a student traineeship, you're doing a student internship. It's not like work. You don't need a work permit. That's why I said it cannot be a job really, you know. And when it's just 90
Okay.
days, you're okay because that's the law, you know.
Now I understand. That's good.
Mhm.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else?
Uh, I'm sorry. Just
Go
short
on.
more. Like if
Yeah.
we get a paid internship, of course, if we get a paid internship, then also we will get the grant.
Could you repeat? Are you asking about a paid internship?
Yes, if we get in a paid internship, then is there possibility for a grant from Warsaw
Yes.
School?
Yes, yes, yes. I would encourage you to look for those internships that offer grant. I like offer compensation, because then you get a compensation from a company and you get the grant. So there's no, like, it's not a problem for Erasmus. So I suggest doing this. If they offer you money, take the money and take the grant.
Sure, sure. And if someone has done in the past, at least in the previous semester, I have done the internship.
Mhm.
Uh, like it is from now, right? Like we should apply for the grant before doing the internship.
Yes, 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 yes. Because so that's the process. You find the internship. So you apply. You go through the application. Probably if it's some big company, so or any company probably. So then they accept you. They say, okay, we will accept you. But probably before even, if there's an option like this, if it's not like some automatic, you know, fill and complete stuff. So it would be good to ask them, okay, but I would like to do this through my Erasmus grant. So I hope that you would sign this, because we can only grant you the funds from Erasmus if we have the agreement with the company. So it has to be like the three-party agreement. So you need to make sure that they know that you want to do this through Erasmus and that they will sign the papers. Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, Piotr, are you still with us?
Yes, indeed, I am.
Thank you so much for joining. Could you, like, I don't know if you want to do this now on tape, but you can just tell us about like your general experience so far, because it's like just the beginning, right?
Yeah, so in my opinion, that like the Erasmus, like as an idea, is the best thing you could actually apply for during the studies. And from my experience, it is so far very positive. Starting off with the administration at Warsaw, basically the whole process was really good. Like working with you on this was really enjoyable. It was really swift as well. There was no problem with administrative like people at our school as well. So everyone is really cool with you going abroad to study. There is no problem whatsoever about doing it. And for me right now, I mean, it is a lot of work, honestly. But on the other hand, like the experience you get from other schools is non-comparable to what you have like in your, for example, Polish for me, as it is my native language, and there is a lot of people that are really knowledgeable about the topic you wouldn't meet otherwise. So if I can, I would suggest you or even encourage you to just go for it and try it yourself. And yeah, I think for now, that is everything I can say about their experience during the Erasmus.
Oh, Piotr, it was more than I expected. Thank you so much. I hope it was some encouragement for others. So do you have any questions, everybody, to me or to Piotr maybe?
What's the level of teaching, I guess, compared to our school? Is it much higher, or the same?
A level of teaching?
Poziom nauczania.
Okay. So for me, at least, since I'm on during second year, it is quite high because it's like the year you're choosing the major. I think fifth for me here. So basically, it's like definitely more specific on certain topics that if you are not interested in, then I guess would be really hard for you to understand. But as far as intensity, I'm sorry for stuttering.
Okay, we get it.
As much as the learning curve and intensity of the actual learning goes, it is quite comfortable for me. I don't know what about the else, but in comparison, it is quite different, I would say. It is really hard to compare those two since I didn't have much experience with majors here at Warsaw School of Computer Science, but there is a lot of things you can learn, and if you are motivated enough, then for sure it is for you. So yeah, it's really dependent on how much attracted you are to the topics that are suggested by the teachers, I would say.
All right, thank you.
I just want to add one thing because that's just what Piotr said, just to sum it up. So, like finishing your second or being in your second year, and I think Piotr, you're doing like it's your fourth semester now, would be like you're doing your fourth semester abroad.
Indeed.
So you haven't yet chosen like your major specialization. So those specific subjects haven't been like here. And another thing that I need to, maybe I shouldn't be saying, I don't know, maybe I should. So, things happen. And when Celina and Piotr went away to France, it transpired that one of the teachers there, like one of those subjects that they both chosen is not going to be done, for some reason. I don't know, for some medical reason or something. So this person was not available. And then we were just working quickly to find a way to make up for this loss of those credit points, basically. So what we did was select much more advanced subjects, which both Celina and Piotr agreed on, but that's their actual, goodwill, let's say, because maybe that's the reason that you're also saying that it's much more specific, much more advanced. So again, this is what I'm saying, like we really need to look close at the subjects, those courses that you're selecting. You need to know what you're choosing and, just to be sure that you're going to make it. Okay, any other questions, people? Okay, so maybe not to make it too long, this meeting, I would like to thank Piotr for coming and everybody else for coming. If you have any other questions, if anything else pops up after looking at this presentation later or watching it, or just when you think about what you should do and stuff like that, so write it in here in this chat, or maybe just write it in the feed of like Student Council Samorząd in Erasmus Plus. Like channel, and then all those questions will be answered. You can always also reach out to me personally on Teams or by email, and I can help you out with your questions. If the questions are more general, I think it would be nice to just share them with everybody interested, so that we share that knowledge and everybody's informed. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informative. I know it was quite a lot. Just digest it and get back to us. And thank you so much, everybody. Unless you have one more question. Okay, no more questions. So then thanks a lot, Piotr. Enjoy your evening in Angers. And everybody else as well, enjoy your evening. And thank you so much for joining. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.